Up next on Iowa 411, we talk to an artist creator who's really made a great name for himself locally. Here comes the next episode of Welcome back to Iowa 411, the place where you get the 411 on all things Iowa. This afternoon, I have with me Eric Guyler from Grizz Gear.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Eric, thanks for joining us today as well, too. I know with, business and all of that, it's sometimes hard to get away. So I really appreciate you taking some time to sit down with us. So you're a creator that I met at a lot of different events. And, as I've seen more of you, I've been just more enamored by the art and the different things that you've done, which has kind of led to you coming here. So first of all, I want to thank you for coming on. But first and foremost, let's talk about Grizz Gear. Talk about the origin of the name, your logo, and speak specifically what that logo looks like. And obviously, we will post it for all of our listeners and for our viewers. But let's just start with the origin of the name and the logo.
Okay. Grizz has been my artist name as long as I can remember. A friend of mine gave it to me, actually. One time I was painting at his house and he just randomly gave it to me. So I just ran with it. And the whole idea behind Grizz Gear is that it's the bear of everyday life. It lives somewhere between the city and the wild. So the city and the wild would kind of be the mascot, and the bear is kind of the guide.
Okay. Very good. And we're going to come back to the city and the wild a little bit because, one of your slogans is love my city. So we're going to come back to that here in just a second. But explain to our listeners and viewers exactly the type of creator you are. What are the different things that you do?
Okay. I do a line of apparel, hats, which are kind of like blank canvases. Each one tells a different story. Do some limited releases, t-shirts. I got a polo coming up that's coming out in a couple weeks. Do kind of a mixed media art on wood. It's mostly reclaimed wood.
Okay.
That's I just kind of style it however I feel, and just kind of try and show my whole, process through what I create.
Outstanding. Well, we have some of your wood projects here. So if you want to maybe just kind of highlight, this one here is one that I stopped and looked at the last Des Moines Flea event. Just the concept around it alone. You want to just kind of highlight the two that are here? And then I also have one here that I'll show to our listeners.
Of course. So this one is kind of a create your own, kind of behind the little canvas here. It says be creative. So the whole idea behind that is you can create your own little art on here and hang it up on the wall. And
and then what about this one here?
This one here, I actually made for myself to hold business cards, and it kind of tells the story, like before when I was talking about Grizz Gear. The city on this side, and then this is the wild, and then here in the middle, the bear would be the guide. So, and in the front, you can just put some little business cards. I try and put that at every event and have that one.
Okay. And then we have this one as well, too, that I'll put out. You want to maybe just explain it while I hold it up here?
Yeah, of course. So this one is kind of the city view from my house. I kind of live east of downtown, and so that's kind of a silhouette of the downtown skyline. And then this here, little street light turns on, so it kind of highlights the Love My City sign, and it's kind of functional art in that way.
Okay, and then let's talk about now. I think this is probably a good segue to talk about your "Love My City" slogan and kind of talk about where that came from. You had talked a little bit about the city and the wild kind of being part of where Grizz got its wings and, where it started. Where did the Love My City logo come from?
Okay. I used to paint live at a lot of events. It was kind of a huge part of who I was at the time. I really enjoyed it and just always felt like the city provided that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of started doing Love My City on things and then just kept going. So
Okay.
the whole idea behind it is to support the city that provides.
There you go. Definitely. And for our listeners and our viewers, this Iowa 411 hat came yours truly from my man here, Grizz Gear, and also the hat that he's wearing today as well. And before we kind of get more into it, how can customers support you? Do you have a website? Let's talk about the website and also the IG.
Yep. I have a website. It's Grizz Gear at bigcartel.com. And you can just search that on Google. And my Instagram is Grizz Gear Supply. Yes. And I also have a Facebook as well. It's Grizz Gear.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, with a lot of creators, artists, and different things out there, what do you think are a couple things that make your artistry, your creation, your curations unique?
Well, I want Grizz Gear to kind of speak Iowa without putting an Iowa logo on it. I want it to kind of have character. I'm not really looking for perfection. I just kind of want to be, authentic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And authentic is what people want, right? Mm-hmm. They want you to be authentic in everything that you do. And so now let's transition into the inspiration to start the business. What was that inspiring factor or that inspiring moment that you had that said, you know what, I'm going to turn this into a business?
So I was already doing art and I kind of just wanted to continue that into shirts, hats, just to kind of give somebody some things that they can wear, support me, and and represent Grizz Gear. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And would you say that as a whole, the reception has been very, very positive to the brand? I know when I see you at events, there are a lot of people that come over and visit your table and things like that. But how would you say the city has supported Grizz Gear?
City's been great. The best part about the whole process of creating Grizz Gear has been the people and the relationships that I've made. The feedback's been great. Kind of just talking with some people that come to the booth. Some of them are struggling with their own process. Sure. So I just kind of help them along with that. Just speak through my regular mindset to them about, believe in yourself and trust the process.
Absolutely. Believe in yourself. That's very, very strong words, and, words I hear all the time, and, words that I also share with those that I work with as well too. So let's talk now about what you did before Grizz Gear and or if you're still doing now something on top of Grizz Gear as well. What does that look like for you?
Okay. Before Grizz Gear, I had a line. It was called E-Grizzle, and that started in 2010.
Okay.
And through the years, I just did limited releases of T-shirts. Wasn't doing hats at the time. It was just shirts. And I had a really decent following, mostly friends and past customers that purchased art from me.
Okay.
And then I kind of just transitioned more into art, and then just stuck with that until I decided I missed it. Right. So I wanted to start it up. So then I rebranded as Grizz Gear, and it's been going great. Got nothing but good things going.
That's good. That's good. I love to hear that. And I love to hear the rebrand, because, right, that's not giving up. It's just saying, hey, we're going to put a different face on it and we're going to move forward. Now, with the E-Grizzle, do you have any gear? Do you have any old gear?
I do have some.
Do you still rock it every now and then?
Yeah, I still rock it. I have like a stack this tall of old T-shirts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you bring them out as like some retros and different things like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I do.
It. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Let's talk about your work. So events that you do where you've showcased your work, and please include any and all. I want our listeners to know and viewers to see, exactly all of the things that you've done, because in my conversation with you, you mentioned a lot of events that I'm very familiar with. So explain to our viewers and our listeners exactly your work itself and hit on as many or all.
Okay. My most recent was I painted a mural for the guys that opened the Des Moines Flea Shop in the East Village. And that was fun. The guys are great. The vibe is awesome down there. So they're always huge supporters. So shout out to them. And like I said before, I used to paint a lot at live events. One that sticks out to me was a giant canvas I painted at Bacon Fest. And I painted it live, held a live auction, and also sold some art that day.
Very nice.
So, yeah. And then I also painted a mural, the boombox for Archive. Phoenix and Bowie, kind of in their earlier starting time, had a spot in the back of like kind of a hype shop, kind of a shoe shop. And I did that for them. And so that's kind of really how our story started. But going back to the events I painted live at was 515 Alive. We painted some cube vans and some party buses at the time. Let's see. And I did paint live also at Hinterland.
Okay.
I did a painting there for them. Same kind of setup. Just hung it on plywood and did a live auction and just kind of fed off the whole crowd the whole time. It was a whole weekend. So
sure.
And it was great.
Sure. Now on those live auctions, do the items sell that day?
Yeah.
They do sell that day. Okay. Outstanding. And he mentioned the Archive and also DSM Flea. So for our listeners and viewers, you'll recall when we did the tour of DSM Flea, the big flea was painted by yours truly here. So, and then the Archive, they also had made some references to the Archive as well during that interview. So tying it all together is definitely sweet. So thanks for sharing that. Murals you've done. So now let's just speak specifically of, like huge murals and ones that you've done and maybe some of the meaning behind some of them. So talk about maybe two of them, two of your most memorable murals, and what was the story behind them?
Okay. My first exterior mural that I actually painted was on the old Quick Trip on the corner of 6th and University.
Okay.
Just across from the hospital. And it was stated "Live Your Dream," and it was a guy in a boat kind of just going through the process. And at the time I was painting a lot of water, so it just kind of flowed with everything I was doing. That mural's since been painted over, but I still have lots of good memories and photos from it. And another exterior mural I have was I was part of a group that was hired to paint the mural at Willard Elementary.
Okay.
And it was on the viaduct wall after they had kind of redone their courtyard area in the back. And that whole mural was just they just wanted positive feelings and things for kids to look at that are like supportive of being positive. So
okay. How did you feel driving by those murals knowing that you did the work?
I actually drove by them once a week and was taking photos in front of them. And it's been great. I still drive by the one at Willard all the time. Okay.
Okay. Now the one on 6th is not there anymore, right? No. I remember seeing it as a youngster, and now that I hear who did it, it's like now I try and remember what it looks like. And then when you sent the picture, I'm like, oh, I remember what that looks like. But obviously those were very, very groundbreaking things, one of which is still alive today. So congratulations on that. So Now let's talk about, you're also a curator as well too. And obviously that's a smaller arm of the artist and the creations that you're doing today. But talk about some of your creations or restorals that you've done. And you have one in mind that I'm hoping that you mention that has been very, very cool to me. And I talk to you about it every time I see it. So talk about some of your curations and restorals that you've done.
Okay. Recently, I was gifted a vintage Western Flyer that I took some rims that I already had from a previous bike and put them on them. I brought it to my booth at the Flea and set it up kind of just as a conversation piece for people to talk about. And I actually really like that bike. I ride it all the time. It's of course vintage, so it's got its squeaks and its quirks, but that's what makes it great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love just the old look of it, and then the rims just kind of bring out just that different story, if you will. And then let's talk about like vintage stuff that you do. I know I bought hats and different things like that, but from a curational standpoint, vintage, what is kind of your area that you dabble in?
So I kind of say thrift, like not necessarily all vintage, but hats from the Goodwill, kind of try and stay in that vintage area.
Sure.
But kind of anything I think people will like. And that's kind of how I'm kind of part of the vintage scene and also the art, but I put them in a bin, and then people just love to dig through it and kind of find that diamond in the rough in there.
Right.
So
that's right. I have found several of them myself. I would say just more, keepsakes that when I see them, I'm like, I want that, and then I wear it and I get questions as well. So that's also fun as well. So, okay. So now let's talk about the business itself, right? So we all know running a business is not always roses every single day. So explain to me the biggest challenge you faced through the start of Grizz Gear to where you are today with Grizz Gear.
Okay. So like starting a business is kind of like having a relationship with yourself and just believing in yourself, and going through the whole process has just actually been the most exciting part of it. When to believe in yourself is like a huge risk, because it could change you, but you could just like stay the same. So I've really enjoyed it. It's actually helped me out like a lot with my own personal issues and problems. Just being, sticking to like strength, gratitude, and perseverance has been kind of my biggest points on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there anything about early on, was there anything about owning a business that made it hard for you to sleep at night?
No, not really. It's actually been really exciting for me.
Okay.
I'm learning and changing every day. So it's really been great. It kind of keeps me going. The next idea, the next hat I can decorate, the next customer, or just someone that stops by the booth that I get to even discuss the process with, or like I said before, they're going through their own process. So just kind of comparing those to each other.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And where do your ideas come from? Do they just, are they just random thoughts that come to your mind, or do you have maybe thoughts in mind, and then as you start to think more and more about it, then it starts to morph into more of a slogan or a motto of some sort?
So I've got multiple old sketchbooks, like actual paper sketchbooks with pencil that are just filled from front to back with images that I've drawn in the past.
Okay.
So I've just been going through those, and those are always just, I used to sit down and try and draw at least a couple hours a week. And I would just fill a whole page. I remember my art teacher in high school always said, fill the whole page.
Sure.
Just put something right in the middle.
Exactly. Exactly.
I take little pieces of that, kind of add it with some other stuff, and digitize it. So now I'm using like iPad Pro with Procreate. So
There you go.
I take a picture and then I'll redraw it. Or maybe an idea will just come to me like before I go to bed or wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And just randomly come to me. So, or
Outstanding.
even at work. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. The mind of a creator, right? It's always moving, right?
It is.
It's always moving. You're always thinking about the next thing, right? And I love it. I love it. Now let's talk about a win or a proud moment. So it can either be a customer, it can be a compliment you got on work that you've done, but talk about the biggest win or the proudest moment that you've had from the time you've owned Grizz Gear.
So when I first started doing hats, there was an event at Chain and Spoke. It was a Des Moines Flea pop-up, a smaller one. I had brought some hats because I worked on them all winter. I was so excited to sell them.
Okay.
And I brought them out, and everybody was just there looking at them. Just to see somebody looking at them was great.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Okay.
I did a live painting. I actually gave it away to Chain and Spoke for that event. And yeah, just talking with the first customer that bought the hats was great.
Okay.
And then that really sticks out to me.
Absolutely. I mean, it certainly would me as well. Now, is that painting in Chain and Spoke today?
Yeah.
It is.
I haven't been in there recently to see it, but it's smaller, kind of like this. And I'm sure it's still there. I'll have to stop by and check it out.
Very nice. That would be something that would almost give me goose pimples to walk into a place and it's like, oh my gosh, that's my work. And, not even work from the current state, right? You had done that years ago. To me, that should mean a lot to you when you do see that as well, too. So that's outstanding. So as you've gone through the lifestyle and the business itself, right? What is something you wish you knew before you started the business that you learned perhaps the hard way in doing business?
Well, I'll just start with there's no shortcut. It's a process all the way through. You learn as you go. You make mistakes, you learn from them. Kind of writing down those mistakes and remembering not to do them again has been kind of something I've been telling myself to do more often.
Sure.
Because once you get used to a process, it's kind of hard to kick those habits. So that's been something I've been really working on. And let's see.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. And so then as Grizz Gear continues to move forward, do you do custom orders? Like if someone were to come and say, hey, I want you to carve me X, how easy is it to do that? Or how easy is it to connect with you to do those things? And do you do custom type work? I don't want to put you on blast like that.
Yeah, I do custom work. Currently, I have a couple murals scheduled coming up, and you can get a hold of me through my Instagram. Just message me on there.
Okay.
And same on Facebook. Just send me a message. I'll let you know what my schedule's like and what we can work out.
Okay.
So.
Are you, and it's okay to say no, are you able to share where the murals will be?
Yeah. I'm working on a couple custom, they're more like canvas, or not canvas, but wood style murals at 22nd Street Barbell. It's out in Johnston, kind of in the industrial area. Okay. And I'm going to be painting one at a garage. Kind of a guy has his own gym set up in there. Nice. He's doing a Chicago theme. So
like a Cubs or nice.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. Cubs, Bulls.
Very nice. And if I remember correctly, you're a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I do remember that. Okay. Well, outstanding. Now let's talk about events that you're going to be doing. So upcoming events that listeners and viewers can potentially see you at.
My next event is this Sunday. I'm doing a pop-up with some guys from Des Moines Flea at Big Grove. They're releasing a beer out there. It's sour. We'll be there from 3 to 7. And at the end of the month, I'll be up in Clear Lake at an art event that they're having on the lake. It's on the 25th of July.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, good. So it sounds like you're going to remain active on the event scene and all of those different things as well, too, which, the prominence is just being in attendance, right?
It is.
That's how you stay relevant, is being in attendance. Yeah. So, well, Eric, is there anything else you want to share about Grizz that I haven't asked about? I mean, I know you talked about the full spectrum of art and apparel, hats, and different things like that. Is there anything that I missed that you want our listeners and our viewers to know about Grizz Gear?
Well, Grizz Gear is kind of just the foundation of it is believe in yourself and trust the process. Like I said before, it's the bear of everyday life. So it's kind of, it's that grit and what keeps you going. Helped me out a lot just to kind of keep pushing through all the ideas and the art and the apparel. So it's important to believe in yourself, even though that's a huge risk. It could totally change you or not at all.
Sure. And was there a defining moment with Grizz Gear where maybe you thought, maybe I don't want to do this, where there was something that clicked, that turned the corner, and then you just started going full steam ahead? Was there something that maybe popped up at that time?
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll kind of get too many things going on. Sure. And just kind of a little bit of anxiety creeps up. And I remember to tell myself, have faith and just keep pushing through. It's, you just gotta kind of just keep pushing.
This episode of Iowa 411 is proudly sponsored by Soul Shots Photo Booth, providing premium photo booth experiences for weddings, corporate events, and private celebrations throughout the Des Moines area. Enhance your next event with customized photo experiences at soulshots.com.
Okay. All right. Well, are you ready for some kind of off-topic fun questions?
Yeah.
Since we've talked about the business and all of that good stuff, let's have a little bit of fun here. So these are going to be more local things and then just things relative to being a creator. So coffee or cocktails?
Coffee.
Okay. Favorite local coffee spot?
I would have to say Chain and Spoke.
Chain and Spoke. Okay. I've never had that. So Chain and Spoke, I'm going to come give you a visit. Favorite local food establishment?
Favorite local food. Okay. My wife eats gluten-free, and I actually have been eating a lot of gluten-free food lately. There's a gluten-free Stales. It's a food trailer. They make really good gluten-free food, and they actually have the best cheese sticks I've ever had.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Where can you find them at?
You look them up on their Facebook, and then they post where they're going to be at from day to day or at events through the week.
Okay. Yeah. And it's an everyday thing. Like they're pretty much out there every day.
We'll say probably 3 days a week and maybe one day on the weekend.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun or surprising fact about you?
Let's see. I'm pretty laid back. I don't really take a whole lot of things seriously. And I'll just say I love my family and my wife and my daughter. I'm a huge daddy's girl, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Rah, rah, rah. I mean, I'm a daughter's dad as well, too. So, and we talked about the upcoming events and different things like that. Spray paint or brush? Pick a side.
I'd have to say spray paint.
Spray paint? Yeah. Okay. Which I would say you use that probably with the boombox for the archive, right?
Yep.
And also the Flea at DSM Flea. Yep. Okay. I could tell just based on how it looks that it was done with some spray paint and by a professional for sure. Craziest place you've ever made art? Craziest place?
I'd have to pick the events because there's just so much going on. It's wild. You got people coming up to you, asking you questions. Hey, where are you from? Are you local? Yeah, I'm local. And I would always tell them, yeah, I'm local. And they're like, well, where's your gallery? I'm like, I don't have a gallery. I've never really been a gallery guy.
Right.
So, yeah, I just tell them, I create kind of on my own terms and just always been at my house. So yeah, it'd have to be the event.
Sure. Isn't it nice to just have the freedom to do it when you want to do it? It's so nice. So nice. Worst piece of art advice you ever received?
Kind of back again when I was painting live, people would come up and see, I'd like to see a little of this color here. What about that over there? I don't really like that over here. So, take that with a grain of salt.
Sure. Take a seat. I already have a plan with this type of thing. So that's funny. Okay. So if your studio caught fire and you could only grab 3 things, what would it be?
Let's see. I would have to grab probably my sketchbook because it actually has all my ideas and it would take a long time to create that again.
Right.
Take my sketchbook, and now that I'm using my iPad as my digital sketchbook, grab that. And I actually just bought a new sewing machine for sewing on my own tags. So I'll probably take that.
There you go. So take a 4th as long as you got time, right? Yeah. Okay. So you get an unlimited budget, okay, and 1 wall anywhere in the world to paint a mural. Where are you going?
I'd just say I'd probably paint the whole front of my house, honestly.
Okay.
That would actually be great. If I had an unlimited budget, I'd paint it from side to side, top to bottom.
Okay. You're forced to collaborate with your total artistic opposite. Okay? Total opposite. Who's a local artist who you never expected you'd team up with? How would you make it work?
It'd be cool to collaborate with somebody that does jewelry.
Okay.
I don't really wear a lot of jewelry, but I think it'd be cool to take some ideas that I have with some of their process, and make some cool jewelry. I think that'd be cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The best secret spot in town to see local art that isn't a gallery. So somewhere you've been where you've just seen really cool art just amongst the building, but it's not a gallery. What's that spot?
There is an alley behind Kelly's Little Nipper.
Okay, east side.
Yep, east side, that we did a while back, and there was probably 5 or 6 artists that painted in that alley.
Okay.
At the time, there was a place called Third Space, and he had an event, and we just he got a hold of the neighbors and said, hey, well, can we paint the back of this building? And they were down, and it's still there. I drove by it on the way here.
Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Solid art. It's still, color's still there. Nothing's faded off. Or very nice.
It looks really good.
Very nice. Yeah. Okay. What's the weirdest thing someone has told you your art reminds them of? The weirdest thing that your art reminded them of?
I do have a lot of people come up and tell me that my art reminds them of a family member that has passed.
Okay.
And whether it be like my outdoor scenes or like a sunset or like the water flow pieces I do. So I'd have to say that's it.
Okay. What does this city or town give you as an artist that you don't think you'd get anywhere else?
So I grew up in and around Des Moines when I was, it's just given me this, just painting the downtown scene has been huge for me.
Sure.
I painted it at a lot of events, and it's still actually a lot of people ask me for it today. So.
Okay. Okay. How do you know when you're building a piece? How do you know when it's done? When do you say, because I know the drawing is what it turns into, right? But you're adding little nuances to it, right? And as an artist, we're all about perfection, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that defining moment that says I'm done, where you don't look at it and say, oh, wait a minute, I got to do this again. Oh, wait a minute, I got to do this again. What's the defining moment?
The defining moment for me would be all the colors in it that I visualize, any little tiny details that no one might notice, but for me, it's kind of how I just really decide it's done. I'll go through and I'll spray paint the backgrounds, and I'll bring in like a brush and kind of do some little details. And once I kind of sand the edges, then I know it's done.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of give it that little sanded edge look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Few more questions before we go. Imperfections. How do you address those? Do you try and hide them, or do you try and blend them in the overall artistry itself to make it look like part of the picture?
I blend them in. I just roll with it. If there's an imperfection, I just make it part of the piece.
There you go.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the best part. And
that's where I was going with that question, is sometimes that is, just like with this podcast, right? This podcast is one that's full of imperfections, but that's what I love about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it's a conversation, right? Yeah. It's not some formal buttoned up, we got to have shirt and ties on, right? Exactly. We can sit here and laugh and have a good time. Yeah. Last question before I ask you the clincher is, how do you get yourself back on track when you get stuck, right? There's an idea, you know what you want, but you just can't pump it out.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing in those moments?
Well, let's see.
So the creation is there from a thought perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't put it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get yourself off that plateau to where you're starting to then create?
Probably go ahead and create it anyways. And if it doesn't turn out exactly how I wanted, can add little kind of things to it, tweaks and stuff. And, I'll just work on it over a couple weeks and take little time here, a little time there, maybe before bed, maybe when I wake up, or maybe sometimes even at the last minute. It's kind of like the area where all the best ideas and inspiration comes.
Sure. Okay. All right. So the last question I always ask all of our guests is more of a advice perspective. So a young aspiring creator comes to you at an event and says, hey, I really like what you're doing. And what is some advice you would give me as a new up and coming creator? Things to look for, things to look forward to. What would be that advice you would give to that young aspiring entrepreneur?
I'd just say take your time. It's not going to happen right away. The ideas that you get, write them down, go through them, create a process that works for you. Just find out what you're good at and share that with the world, really.
Sure. What would you tell them to look out for? Like if they say, okay, that's great, but what should I look out for?
I'd say just with every peak, there's a valley, and just figure out how to stay consistent through that. Really, yeah. So with every peak, there's a valley. So just try and stay consistent through that, and you'll find your way. You really will.
Sure. And it sounds like you live that yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Just hearing you say that and seeing and getting to know you over time, I see that as kind of your living standard, which I appreciate that. And I want to wish you continued success with Grizz Gear. And obviously I'll see you around in different places as well. But thanks again for coming on and spending some time with us. And for our listeners and viewers, again, Grizz Gear, you can find them online. And I'll have Eric give the, what is the website again?
It's Grizz Gear at bigcartel.com.
Okay, and you can also catch Grizz Gear on IG as well too. Eric, again, thank you. Thanks very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And for our listeners and viewers, this is Claude Wilkins with Iowa 411, the place where you get the 411 on all things Iowa. Until the next time, we will see you later. Peace.
Peace.